Hey, Orange One here. So I started up a new character named Oppa or Opa Centauri. So it is kind of like a similar character, same mutations as we started out last time. But this character, I got a little bit further. We just started to dive into a location. We've got a lead acid cell, and we've also got an electro bow. But basically everything else that we have is very similar to what we had with the other character. They just spent a little bit of time killing Snapjaws, and everything that we've got on us was found on Snapjaws. I think this is actually in Red Rock. And so there's all these like rusted items in here, and you can actually repair them, which I hadn't realized. Or I think I remember that they used to have that in the game, but I'd forgotten how exactly it was done. So I was pretty stoked to see that you can repair rusted gear, because this character had gone next to some kudzu, and it had damaged our armor, our ring mail. So I wanted to figure out how to repair that. And I think I had made note of, okay, it needs these certain letter items. We could break down some stuff. We need B and C. And we had been gathering some scrap, and so we have B and C right here as long as we disassemble these items. So I think I disassemble a couple of these things, get some crystals and sheet metal. And so we should be able to repair our gear at this point. So that's a good thing knowing how to do, especially at this point in the game, because you're going to get item that gets rusted. And if you look, that is significantly better than I think the woven tunic that we had been wearing previously. And like I'd said previously, you want to have armor over dodge in almost all situations in this game. Also, I'd gone and bought a ton of arrows, so we're able to shoot things pretty easily and not have to worry about that. Also, I got one of the skills that lets you, when you run over trash, I think it's called Scavenger, it lets you pick up and scrap the materials. And so we've actually got a fair amount of scrap from that. I don't know if I've explained this yet, but like items can have different modifiers on them. So those masterwork items they're much better than normal types. It's like in a lot of games the modifier will give you plus or minus to certain skills. And so I think this character actually has a masterwork steel sword or something like that. So the masterwork bronze stuff is like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not like super good. I don't know why I stepped there. Oh yeah, with this kudzu, I was trying to get the items that were next to us, and you can interact nearby if you do Control and G. So I think I did interact nearby, and I selected that direction, and I was able to pick up those items without stepping into the kudzu's melee range. And those painted items tend to be worth quite a bit of money, so even if it's just like a staff, it will give us a bonus to that society, I think. Yeah, plus 50 to that society, and it will be worth a lot more if we go and talk to a trader. I am adding in my adding in this dialogue or this commentary in after the fact, so it just kind of worked out nicely with the timing on those things. I don't know how I got that to work. Sometimes when you pass over trash, you don't always rifle through it, which is really annoying. But it's definitely worth it because it lets you repair gear, and I mean, this character isn't quite there yet, but when we start being able to actually like craft things, that skill is gonna make it really, really cheap for us to build like grenades and energy cells and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's, in my opinion, a good skill to get early on. I know some people would want to... Oh, that seed spitter almost took us out there. In just one hit, they took us down to 11 health. So I figured, okay, that's a good time to retreat. But in general, as long as you're being smart, you should be able to take these things out. And seeing how we got those arrows, we don't even have to get that close. I think they just got lucky with that one hit that took us down to 11. What I really should be doing is waiting for our sprint ability to come back. If you look at our menu, near where it says number 171 to 76, next to that there's a little green arrow that I think will turn on when we're actually able to sprint. Yeah, so did you see how that arrow is now on again? So now we can actually sprint. So I should have probably waited to that before I think I may have waited to that to come back before I went down there. And for some reason the Snapjaws did not follow us up. So yeah, we're in Red Rock right now. And with this game, it's usually worth it not to rush things, so I think I was just being overly cautious there. Oh, and at this point, they had kind of taken us to low health, so I think I was just doing ranged attacks, yep. And I think they actually just bled out before we even got a chance to do a ranged attack on them. It's always nice. But yeah, this is the, I don't know if I said this, but Red Rock is the location of that, I think, what is it called? What's chewing the red vine, or the, whatchamacallit? It's one of the main quests that they send you to this location, and it's actually a pretty dangerous location, so it's kind of like sneaky that they send you here right away. Unless you can take out Snapjaws pretty consistently and deal with some of the animals, you don't want to come here. So this character is doing okay. I'm a little bit nervous about going much deeper than this, because we don't have like a proper gun, which I would usually say is a pretty much essential for this place. I mean, you can take it without a gun, but if there's a Snapjaw shotgunner, you want to have a gun so you don't have to try and attack them melee. And we did get a weird artifact there, so yeah, I'm gonna see what that was. Because right now we have the electric or electro bow, but we don't have an energy cell that we can use, because the lead acid cell actually requires you to find acid, and then you can refuel it with that acid. And it's actually one of the worst types of energy cells in the game, but it would be pretty sweet to have that up and going, because it's the electro bow is a decent weapon. It basically shoots like lasers out of it, and it lets you use the skills that you would usually use with rifles or bows. And it's just, awesome. It's like a lightsaber bow thing. It's definitely something that we could sell and get some cash for, but I'd rather hold on to it, seeing how it's like a good item for this character. And right here I'm just funneling the Snapjaws into one spot, because I know that if we don't, we could get overrun by them. And I'm feeling pretty confident around these Snapjaws. We tend to kill them in like 1 or 2 hits, even in melee. So even though I was in the yellow, I figured that we were safe. We do actually have steel arrows if we need to switch them out. And You know what I'm just realizing now is that we don't have anything covering our face. Which is kind of silly because we could get some more armor from that. What effect am I under? Oh yeah, I was looking at the skills. I wasn't really sure how I wanted to spend these 100 points, but I think I figured it out. If I don't do it soon, I think I did it later on. There's all these different skills that are really useful, like tactics and like self-discipline. Those tend to be really nice. But we're just over encumbered at this point, so I think a lot of this episode is me just managing our encumbrance. And that studded leather armor actually is just as good as our ring mail, but I think it weighs a little bit more. So I think I decided to keep that with us, but not equipped it. It's also just kind of cool thinking about the centaur wearing chain mail. But as you can see, you can easily get overrun by Snapjaws in a place like this. And you can also very easily get over encumbered because of all the junk that you get from them. I like the Crocusins, that name is pretty funny. I don't know if it's I think it's like a moccasin made from crocodiles, but it just makes me think of like Crocs, you know? Like that is pretty funny, an image of a centaur wearing Crocs. Oh look, we got also an achievement for taking out Snapjaws. Oh, I'm so sorry for all this inventory management that you guys have to watch. Even with having 4 legs, we have to do a little bit of this. And the funny thing is that this stuff is not worth that much because it's just like a bunch of junk. It's just like old swords and leather armor. It's like not even the good stuff, not even like the futuristic weapons. There's some really cool stuff. That electro bow is just like the beginning. Okay, I did see a seed spitter there. So the interesting thing is the shot that we're taking right there from the angle we're at, we have a pretty high probability of hitting the wall that we're next to. But they also have a pretty high probability of hitting the wall as well, so it's not the worst. I figured we might as well just step out and give ourselves some clear shots. I've also been marking my enemies, which I don't know if I was doing with Alfred. I don't think we got the right skills to do that, but we've got some the bow skills. So if we press F and we look at an enemy, we can then press either the plus button or M to target them. And there you can also see we just were funneling in the Snapjaws into that corridor. I think at this point I'm starting to get a little bit more picky in what I'm willing to pick up. Get it? Picky. I think that I'd cleared out most of Red Rock at this point, and I think I continue doing this floor. Okay, yeah, that one kind of freaks me out because they're red, which I wasn't sure what type of enemy they were gonna be, but they're just a brute. And brutes are, you know, they're tough. They're not impossible, and I think I just saw an arrow go by us there. I think that there's an archer as well. So yeah, I was just falling back to make sure if there is an archer they can't shoot us while we're dealing with the brute. And we actually even kited the brute onto the water there, which was pretty smart, because then he'll move a little bit slower. Can't catch me, I'm a Russian centaur. Like in most characters, you can't run away from enemies this easily. You have to be sprinting to do something like that. And you can only sprint for so long, but because we've got those extra legs, and we've got the quickness trait, which I think we've leveled up both of those a little bit, we're able to run away from enemies even just at like a walking speed. Oh, and look, there's a willowy short bow, which I think I switched out with our current bow because it weighs less, so then we can carry more loot, you know? I'm also pretty sure that it's worth more because it's got a modifier to it. Yeah, so I dropped one of our bows and equipped the willowy short bow. I don't know if I reloaded it or not. Oh, we were getting hungry, that's what it was. So yeah, I think I had talked about in the previous episode, if you make a camp using your abilities, like if you press A and then you make a camp using whatever key that's assigned to, then you can make a meal by pressing space and enter. And that's how you deal with hunger now, apparently. I think, you know, it used to be that you just always should be filling up. And so they just did it automatically, but now it's like you can make certain meals with certain ingredients and it gives you certain bonuses, so it's more of like a strategic thing about what you're going to be eating and when you're going to be eating it to get those bonuses. Which I like, but it definitely would have been nice to have known a little bit more about that and had that been a little bit more clear. Oh, and also, unlike in Cataclysm, you can pick up liquids just off the ground. Which always drives me crazy in Cataclysm. There's definitely ways to get liquids off of the ground. And yeah, we didn't reload our bow, that's why I was having that issue. Oh man, we're actually kind of low on arrows there. Yeah, I think I was considering going to the next level down, but we had kind of run out of arrows at this point. Yeah, after that spitter, I'm pretty sure we're almost out of just wooden arrows. And those things, they just keep on appearing on the ground. You gotta be careful. I think you have a percentage chance of seeing those things depending on your... Oh gosh, what stat would it be? I can't remember right now. Also, if you do the, it's the same thing as Cataclysm. If you hold down shift and you do like the greater than or less than symbol, that'll take you up or down stairs. I think that must be from the original Rogue, because it's in all the roguelikes that I've played. If you press the go up button and you're not on stairs, it'll ask you if you want to auto walk to those places. But you want to be careful because sometimes it'll auto walk you onto tiles that you normally would never walk on. Someone was saying, the same guy that I mentioned in the last video was saying it will walk you on slime tiles. And you'll slip on that slime tile and you might land on like lava or like a landmine or something, so you gotta be kind of careful with that button. I'm kind of curious about what the point is of vine wafers now that your character doesn't automatically eat them. But yeah, we were able to get back here super quickly. I was thinking about editing some of the walk back out, but it was so quick I think I'm just gonna keep it in. I've got all kinds of goods. So it's always these stores. They it's kind of like in Fallout. I think every 3 days they'll change what they have in stock. So you can actually get really good items from Tam without ever having to leave the swamps. You just need to find items to trade first for those things that you want. As you can see, like, we're not getting a lot from all this stuff, but we have a lot of stuff. And yeah, that masterwork item was worth, I think, twice what it normally is, and same with the painted. And I know that we're not getting the value of that arrow, but it's so small in comparison to everything else, it's not really worth it. And this is what I was talking about. These things right here, they're worth a lot. And they don't weigh that much. So if you want to, you can just collect those and then trade as you want to for certain things using the copper and silver nuggets. Kind of funny, it's like not the whatchamacallit, the currency of the world, but people still value it pretty highly. I think I wanted that musket because we have the money to buy a musket. I thought, well, maybe we'll go for the musket. Oh no, but there was also this artifact that I was curious, because if they're gonna sell that for that much, I figured, okay, this will be a good item, maybe an energy cell. But no, it's a Hulk honey injector, which is a good item. Gives you like a lot more hit points depending on your level, more strength, makes you a little bit slower, but so basically if you're trying to tank something in melee, really useful item. But it's gonna slow you down, so it'll make you like Hulk out, hence the name. But we can repair the copper nugget, which is like, wait, what? We can repair a copper nugget with I don't even know what it is that we're using. A microchip? Or like scrap metal? What are we doing, like scraping off the rust? Yeah, why do you need electronics to repair a copper nugget? So I think I was pretty upset at this point because I figured, oh man, we got 190 drams of water worth of equipment there. And then we just get like an item that, quite frankly, I'm probably not going to use. Because our character is just not a melee character. And this guy, he has got some really good stuff too. Some good blueprints that you can buy to make items, but we just don't have the money. We're nowhere close to having the money to be able to get some of those data discs. And look at how much he's selling that junk for. It's so much easier to just get that one trait, scavenger, and just find your own junk. I think at this point I was a little worried because we're a little low on water. I usually like to have more water than that. But we need more arrows because we don't have the musket, you know? And seeing how we've been building towards a ranged character, I figured, okay, well, let's just get as much as we can and get an even amount of drams. Because even if you're like 0.05 or 0.01 away from having an even amount of drams, they'll round up. Like, they don't care if it's pretty much the same thing. No, they want the exact right price or better. They never will do it a little bit worse. So you have to do a little bit of math when you're trying to trade with those dromads. What was I doing at this point? Can't remember. Was I going back to Joppa. Oh no, I was checking to see if this was acid or not. It's slime. And I figured, well, I know that some liquids, if you put them inside of water skins, you can then sell those water skins. So I figured, okay, well, let's fill up these water skins, maybe see how much cash we can get for slime. Because I think, like, God, what is it? There's some really valuable liquids in the game that you can just find laying around. There's like springs of them as well, and if you can find that, it's like just free money essentially just laying down. You just need to get water skins. But as you can see, we can only sell that for like about 5 drams, and water skins themselves cost about 20 per water skin. So I figured that's definitely not a good deal. So I figured, alright, well, I'll just dump out the slime. And this is a kind of a cool thing about liquids in this game, is you can dump out liquids wherever you want, but you can also pour them like on top of yourself. So if you're on fire, you need to pour a little bit of either water on yourself, or I suppose slime would put fire out, I'm not sure. There's some liquids that are flammable and some that are not flammable. You need to be really careful with water, at least in the version that I used to play, because steam is pretty much instant death. So you don't want to step on water tiles that have been set on fire. On the flip side, you can use that to kill enemies. They're much tougher than you. I think it destroys the items though. If it doesn't destroy the items, it at least doesn't give you the experience. As you saw, we just drank some more of our water, so I was a little bit worried that we might be running out of water soon. And we have the vine wafers, so I think that we're actually okay. We won't like immediately die from thirst, because I think those actually give you a fair amount of liquid. I figured, well, we should probably gather some more of the loot that we dropped down, and I think that's mostly what I do for the rest of this episode. As I was just trying to loot the rest of the Snapjaws that we'd taken out. Because we dropped all that stuff that wasn't worth as much, but I figured, okay, we just need cash right now. We just need some water. And that's an underlying theme in this game, is especially early on, it's hard to not die of dehydration. Yeah, I think I might look up more about the vine wafers and their purpose now. But I'm pretty sure they're just as a way to keep yourself a little bit hydrated. I've really been enjoying this game. I hope you guys have been enjoying watching me play it. I think that this is one of those roguelikes that it's fairly famous among the community, but there's a lot of people that don't know about it. I figured, you know, if you guys enjoy Kenshi and the post-apocalyptic, essentially ruins and ancient societies, then you'll like this game too, you know. Especially later on, like if you're bearing with me up to this point, I think you're gonna really enjoy the like mid game. This early game is definitely pretty grindy. But you get some really cool stuff later on, and I really like the abilities in the game. This character hasn't really got a lot of abilities, but I was thinking of doing a psychic character because they have some really cool stuff. Like they have like little force fields that they can create, and you can shoot like flames out of their hand. They're pretty OP though. Like if you get flame hands, basically you can just rip and tear through the Snapjaws. Like they're so easy to kill with that, especially if you use steam if there's a tough one. It's so funny if you listen to like, if you read the things that they made that male of, it's disgusting. I think it said a shoemaker's left arm. Which I'm not sure if a shoemaker is an animal in this game. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's just a shoemaker. I think this is the first time we'd gone down to this level, and hey, we start seeing our first human enemies. There's a hermit and a cannibal, just like chilling down here. I don't know if we can judge the cannibal though, seeing how we just ate a meal from a shoemaker's left arm. None of them followed us up the stairs though, so I think they were too busy fighting each other. Oh, and there's a, what's it called? A salt hopper? I'm not sure. Those things I remember are really, really nasty. Yeah, salt hoppers. You don't want to mess with those things. They're super fast. And they do a lot of damage. But they're kind of glass cannons, like you can do a lot of damage to them. Oh hey, we just got a level up. So from what I remember, I wasn't sure if I wanted to either invest more in a combat stat here, or if I wanted to invest in something for our tech. We've got another mutation point, and I think I've just been splitting heightened quickness and multiple legs. I know they're kind of boring choices, but I think that they're going to really ensure survival. And we can invest right now more into some stuff, some more abilities for shooting, which would be great. But we don't even have a good gun, so we can't even really use it. We could get Tinkerer 2, which would give us more blueprints that we could access and build. We could go with tactics and just get some basic skills, which might be nice. Charge is really nice, but you kind of need to be a melee build character, and we don't have enough strength for that. So we're kind of locked down to, even with just our abilities, or our stats, they are gonna help us with like being acrobatic, but we don't even have enough strength to jump over tiles, because you can jump over like lava or something, but you don't always land where you aim to land, so it's kind of a little sketchy. So I think, yeah, I'm just about done. So I think I'm gonna end this episode about here. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you want to see more of these. This has been Orange One. I'll see you next time.